It's groundbreaking. You know a better word for groundbreaking?
Good morning, everybody. This is the Morning Drive Show. Today, it's a special edition. It's the Morning Die Show because of my special guest, Dr. Jack Kevorkian. You might know him better as Dr. Death.
If a person's allowed to die, you do it quickly, painlessly. You don't let them wither away.
What would you charge for this procedure?
You don't charge people for something like this.
Jack, they're threatening to bring you up on murder charges.
Have the gall charge Dr. Kevorkian tonight. Bring it on.
You're not a local quack anymore.
No.
You're America's quack.
America's quack.
I bailed you out. Let's go.
What kind of lawyer does that? I should fire you.
Have you no religion? Have you no God?
He is leading society into an age of enlightenment, you idiots.
Who cares what people think? It's what my patient feels.
And those who say Jack Kevorkian, Dr. Death, is a fanatic?
Zealot. But if it helps everybody else, I can turn fanatic.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian appears at the courthouse locked in an old-fashioned wooden pillory.
Wait, what law have I broken?
I will ask the question, sir.
Smart ass.
What's on your mind, Jack?
I'm thinking of the Supreme Court. I'm thinking of going all the way.
I don't know about the law either, but I know when I'm watching a train wreck.
You need people that you can trust. And the only way people trust each other is if they know each other. And nobody knows you. Nobody.
Jack, you can't kill someone on national television.
Fine, great.
This is such a great idea, Doctor.
These are my decisions to make. Mine alone.
Great Jack Kevorkian.
Man's invincible.
When a law is deemed immoral by you, you must disobey it. You must disobey it.
When a patient hits the switch, the saline is cut off. At the same time, pentothal is started, concentrated solution, which puts the patient in deep coma. The machine automatically times 60 seconds to turn this one on. 60 seconds later is potassium chloride concentrated, which paralyzes the heart muscle and causes what in essence is a heart attack.
Painless death in about 4 minutes. It is an ending Dr. Kevorkian says terminally ill patients have a right to choose.
If a person feels in his own mind that he is crippled in suffering in some way, where life is no longer for him or her worthwhile, then it's up to me to help no matter what I think personally.
Last summer, quadriplegic David Rivlin exercised his right to die by having a doctor turn off the machine that was keeping him alive. But Kevorkian's machine is designed only to end life.
Then I request any copies of medical documents they have, names and addresses of doctors who were treating them. And these, when I receive these, it sets into motion this protocol. Then I and my assistants will then set up a meeting with the patient and relatives and friends and family, anybody they want there. I insist on everybody possible being present, even children of majority age. But let me say one more thing I didn't say to my medical colleagues out there. Right. This what I'm doing, which the religious fanatics oppose, was absolutely ethical. Get that, those words, absolutely ethical and widely practiced in Hippocratic Greece. And if Hippocrates were here today, do you think he would curse me and pat them on the back? Never. What I'm doing was absolutely ethical. Just because religious dogma made it unethical doesn't mean it's medically unethical. And that my colleagues should understand that.
You invited yourself here to make a final stand. You invited yourself to the wrong forum. Our nation tolerates differences of opinions because we have a civilized and nonviolent way of resolving our conflicts. We have the means and methods to protest laws with which we disagree. You can criticize the law, lecture about the law, speak to the media, or petition voters, but you must always stay within the limits provided by the law. You may not break the law or take the law into your own hands. No one's unmindful of the controversy and emotion that exists over end-of-life issues and pain control. I assume the debate will continue in a calm and reasoned forum long after this trial and your activities have faded from the public memory. But this trial was not about that controversy. This trial was about you, sir. You've ignored and challenged the legislature and the Supreme Court. Moreover, you've defied your own medical profession. This trial was about lawlessness, about your disregard for a society that exists and flourishes because of the strength of our legal system. No one is above the law. You had the audacity to go on national television, show the world what you did, and dare the legal system to stop you. You publicly and repeatedly announced your intentions to disregard the laws of Michigan. Because of this, I am imposing the maximum sentence of 10 to 25 years. You may now, sir, consider yourself stopped.
How many people in total did you help die?
It's around 130.
Around?
A little more than 130. Right.
You're not sure of the exact number?
Well, I was helped by a colleague, a psychiatrist, who joined me near the end. The only doctor who offered to join me. In fact, the only doctor who would all cooperate with me.
And the first time you did it, who was the first?
Janet Atkins was the first.
And that was in a van?
In a van.
Why in a van?
I couldn't find a place. I tried nursing homes, churches,
you didn't want to do it at your
clinics.
apartment?
No, because the police would raid the apartment, clean it out. And I didn't want to involve anybody else in it, like the landlord.
I mean, what is that like, to end somebody's life in a van?
Well, you're not ending the life. I didn't do it to end the life. I did it to end the suffering the patient's going through. The patient is obviously suffering. What's the doctor supposed to do? Turn his back? If he's a coward, he is. But
a lot of doctors do that.
Well, they're cowards. Doctors are cowards, you know that. They won't take anything that's going to hurt their income or their reputation. Anything any legal thing that's going to possibly be damaging.
I mean, did you have nightmares about it? Did you ever feel?
No. I don't think a doctor should have a nightmare about any medical procedure, or else he's not a doctor.
Did you find it sad?
Well, of course. You don't like to end a life. Look, if somebody's got a cancer of the bone, of the hip, you don't take the leg off at the joint, in the hip joint, because you want to do it. I says, I'm going to take that leg off. I can't wait to take that leg off. No. The leg has to come off to help save the patient's life. Unfortunately, it entails the loss of a leg.
But a lot of people, as you know, I mean, say, look, you're playing God. That shouldn't.
Well, isn't the doctor who takes a leg off playing God?
You're saying doctors play God all the time?
Of course. Anytime you interfere with a natural process, you're playing God. God determines what happens naturally. That means that when a person's ill, he shouldn't go to a doctor because he's asking for interference with God's will. But of course, patients can't think that way. They want to live as long as possible and not suffer. So they call a doctor to help them end the suffering.
Are you a religious man?
No.
Do you believe in God?
I don't know. Is there a God? Look, I'm a scientist. A doctor is always a scientist.
Do you fear death?
Well, as much as anybody else. I fear it only because I like living so much because I feel good.
If you were ill, if you had a terminal illness and were in pain, would you take your own life?
If it was unending pain and there was no cure, of course. I'm doing this for me. See, it's my natural right. That's in the Constitution, in the 9th Amendment, which is ignored. I have a natural right to do whatever I want with my body, anything, as long as it doesn't affect anybody else or any other property, and I give permission, myself permission to do it. That's true of anything. I help a patient only with his permission to do what I think is necessary, and it's all laid out in detail to the patient.
Do you think you've had an impact? Do you think you've been successful?
I think this film may have an impact because it's very emotional and very powerful. But it helps the issue, and that's what counts. Whether it helps me or not is irrelevant. And I like that because it helps the issue.
You use different ways of ending people's lives.
Yes.
At first, what did you use?
I had to devise a way to do it. The patient was quadriplegic who wanted a doctor to come and help him die. I says, look, I can help you, but it's illegal. So I've got to find a way to do it legally. And I'll get back in touch with you. And in the meantime, I was working on a way to do it.
So you basically just came up with an idea in your mind to make a machine.
That would save me from having to do it. So
a machine that would allow the person to actually end their own life.
That's right. I would set up the machines, all the solutions and everything, in the intravenous line, and then the patient would hit a switch and start everything flowing.
Later on, you started using a gas.
Yeah, because they took away my license for the controlled substance.
So you couldn't get access to...
So they made it harder for me and harder for the patient. But that didn't bother them. See, they don't care about the patient suffering. See?
So you actually, so what, you would put something over their head and give them a gas?
No, we first tried one case with a thing that I devised over the head of a plastic that's you could see through, transparent.
Right.
But the patient panicked and said, stop it, stop it. So I stopped it. We stopped it. And I says, why don't we try this another day? He said, no, do it now. He was determined to end it. He had severe emphysema. And that helps the panic. When you breathe and you have trouble breathing, when you're breathing carbon monoxide gas. When you have carbon monoxide poisoning at night, when you're asleep, it doesn't wake you up. You die. In other words, it's not so disturbing that it would wake you up. Therefore, it can't be too disturbing when you take it awake.
And the final patient, Tom Yao.
Yeah.
That case was different. You actually injected him yourself.
That's right.
You actually injected him because you wanted to go to court.
I wanted to bring the case so that I get standing. They can't say they didn't get the particularized case they wanted.
And you thought it would go to the Supreme Court and that basically this would change the law of the land.
Yeah, I hope this go to get... I doubt it, though, because I knew the court's corrupt.
I want to just show a little video that you made prior to the injection.
And we're ready to inject. We're going to inject in your right arm. Okay? Tom? You asleep? He's asleep.
When you see that, what do you think?
That the law has forced me to do this in the most undignified way.
You think it's undignified?
Of course it is. There's no family there. We're alone, two of us. I can't risk anybody else's life.
You had told his family that they should leave.
You must not be there because they'll try to prosecute you as an accomplice or something. You don't know because they're cruel. The law is cruel. They don't care about the patient. They care about the letter of the law.
Bond is set for $50,000. You going to pay that today?
Oh, that is beyond egregious, Your Honor. There is no way I'm going to pay a bond like that, Your Honor. You can forget it. You can forget it. Because this is the last time you people unjustly take away from me my liberty.
I need a moment
last
of my time,
time,
Your Honor.
and I will not, hear me now, I will not eat. Guarantee.
I apologize
You are
for my
assisting
client,
in
Your
my
Honor.
suicide.
Please, Jack, just come on.
You're off parole now, right?
Oh, yeah. I have only 2 years after I got out of prison.
So you're a free man?
Yeah.
Would you do it again? Would you help somebody?
Under certain circumstances, yes. As long as I know they're not going to throw me in jail again and prison me. Yeah, I would do it again.
Have you had people approach you for help to end their life?
They approached me even. I got letters from them even when I was in prison. They wanted help. They wanted advice how to do it. I couldn't do that in prison.
Can you give advice to people now?
Not in parole. It stopped. With parole ending, I could give any advice I want.
So now you could give advice.
Absolutely.
To
I can. Notice I'm talking very freely about it.
And are you in touch with people who want to end their
Not
life?
right now. No. They all assume, like the judge says, you have now been stopped. Well, she was wrong. I haven't.
You haven't been stopped?
No, of course not. I still push for this issue, and when a chance comes, I'll do it the way it should be done.
What do you mean? You will help someone else end their life?
Yeah, because you have it in 3 states, so-called.
Oregon, Washington.
That's not done right. That's not a medical service. A doctor can't be involved. Illegal. You'll be punished. AMA says you'll lose your license. Scares the hell out of me.
So will you build another machine?
I don't need a machine. A doctor can do the injecting. The machine was just to avoid being charged with having committed the crime.
But you don't have access to the pharmaceuticals anymore, do you?
Not yet. But if it were illegal, in other words, if the law stepped out of the picture, if religion stopped pushing this opposition, then we could do it like a regular medical procedure, which it should be.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian, the Michigan pathologist who became well known for his career in assisted suicide, died early Friday morning, June 3, 2011. The controversial doctor had been hospitalized in Beaumont Hospital in the Detroit suburb of Royal Oak for pneumonia and a kidney-related ailment. The music of Johann Sebastian Bach, Kevorkian's favorite musician, was put on the intercom so he could hear the music as he was dying. Dubbed Dr. Death, Kevorkian made national headlines as a supporter of physician-assisted suicide and right-to-die legislation. He He was charged with murder numerous times through the 1990s for helping terminally ill patients take their own lives, more than 130. He was convicted of second-degree murder in 1999 for killing a patient with Lou Gehrig's disease. He was paroled in 2007 and never took another life. In his last interview in 2010, Kevorkian said he had no regrets about his work. It's your purpose as a physician. How can you regret helping a suffering patient?
For more stories from Mahalo News, please visit our Facebook page or click any of the links around.